What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's Actuali Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm DJ.
And it's another episode of Meaning Making 101, where we try to make sense of this crazy, wild world together and change this world from the inside out. How are we going to do that, fam? How are we going to be that change we wish to see in this world if we're all friggin' tired and sick and wasting away, don't have the motivation, don't have the interest anymore? We're just trying to make it through the drudgery. And that's not a good place for us to be in. We got this system of self-governance here that we're trying to keep together. Things are getting insane out there in the world. How can we help to ameliorate the meaning crisis that is driving us apart from one another? So, Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2026.
Oh, my goodness.
We're going to make an entire Good News Roundup episode. This whole episode is going to be a Good News Roundup, and hopefully it's going to help motivate you guys to be healthier in this coming year. We had a big announcement today from the White House. Carolyn Leavitt brought on RFK Jr., among others, to announce the changes in the dietary guidelines from the USDA. The food pyramid has been flipped on its head, upside down, and I love it. I'm so happy to see this. Regardless of where you stand in the political spectrum, this is really good news. I don't know if anybody has anything to say about choosing really good, healthy food over junk processed food, but we'll see. God knows if you got something to say, bring it up in the comments. We're here, we're live, and you guys can take part in the conversation. So you are encouraged to come on and tell us if we're wrong, or if you agree, or you got some interesting notes on your own health journey. We'd love to hear it. Oh, yeah. I realize it doesn't actually matter.
Oh, it doesn't?
Nope, it doesn't show up.
All right, cool.
I looked it up too, yeah. So let's kick off real quick with something that I found that was pretty cool. This was actually from the White House, and a little video they put together to announce the big day here. So let's go. Check it out.
The center of making America healthy again is making American agriculture great again.
40% of children are overweight and obese. Cancers are up 79%. Autism rate is stunning. 40% of American adults are obese.
And it is largely because of our...
Yeah, we don't have a problem of having too little food. We have a problem of having too much food and not good food.
And that just shows you like how effective capitalism is. The poor under capitalism get fat.
Yeah.
The poor under anything else die.
Bring us up, and looks like we're missing a little window there.
ultra-processed food system.
Make America healthy again.
Our goal is to get toxins out of our environment, poisons out of our food supply, and keep our children healthy and strong.
We know the American food system is the safest in the world, but now we must do what it takes to make it the healthiest.
Every child in America that is hungry will have good food to feed them. And moving farm fresh produce as much as is possible into the schools and into these kids.
The SNAP program is designed to help those in
Here,
need
pause
of
this real quick.
assistance.
Yeah.
Now that they're going to bring up SNAP, I am
Got a couple clips on that too.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, if the food pyramid has been flipped upside down and changed, does that mean that, like, instead of your staples being carbohydrates and highly processed foods, it will encourage the buying of your meats, your roughage, and then, of course, grains of different varieties. And then my other
wait till you see
my
it.
other thought is
awesome.
our dependency on corn and soy. And the reason why we grow them together is because they both replenish the soil after each other. It is one of our major exports to the world, but corn and soy destroys the land. It destroys the farmers who do it, and I won't say they're addicted. It's an addiction to government subsidies for corn and soy, and it's so freaking expensive to do corn and soy that you have to, in the mass amounts that they do, you have to get subsidies from the state.
Yep.
And
you have to buy the Monsanto seeds, like in India. Thousands of farmers that have committed suicide because of how they're getting locked into this almost like a drug dealer relationship where they have to buy these seeds. And if these seeds just happen to blow over into their crop from a neighboring farmers, they get sued
No,
by
that's
the
in the
big
United
agro
States.
companies.
That's
That happens here too.
And
Yep.
if you have a Monsanto product that ends up breeding with one of your products, even not just growing over, and you sell what comes from that breeding, you will get sued.
And you know what they're doing with this corn and soy. Now, I'm sure there's ways to genetically modify things like golden rice to have more beta carotene. But what we're seeing from big agriculture companies is pesticides being written into the seed genome. So Agent Orange, you know, which was used in Vietnam to decimate jungles and cropland, that same stuff has been watered down. That's Roundup. That's exactly what it is. And that stuff is being grown in the seed genome. So that means it grows through the plant. The pesticide is in the plant.
Or
that's a bit of an
the
issue.
plant produces
You'll see that in
some
corn,
type
soy.
of that pesticide.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot more
Really
we can say staple grains that are a lot healthier, like millet. Millet's actually really good for you.
Hearty,
and it has a lot of protein.
ancient
So
grains.
for you vegetarians and vegans out there that can't eat the meat, there's stuff like that. But anyway, Snap paying for cheap processed food, it's like you're just poisoning yourself and your kids. So
it's the ultimate conflict of interest.
And that's what they wanted to do.
That's what they were doing. Oh yeah, Coca-Cola and stuff was saying, well, if you remove us from SNAP benefits, that's racist because a lot of black people like Coca-Cola. What? So they would use arguments like that. So yeah, let's go on. We'll be covering all of this. We got clips for everything today, fam. So let's go. We're going to finish up this little thing real quick here.
To Herfield. We are on track to sign multiples of SNAP waivers to get junk food out of our food stamp system.
There it is.
We are driving meaningful change to remove artificial colors from their products.
Huge companies
cut out synthetic food dyes.
Color the package, not the food.
It is a new day at USDA.
This announcement today on regenerative agriculture puts American farmers first as part of the solution.
These guidelines will prioritize whole, healthy, and nutritious foods.
We will make America healthy again, and what an honor it is to be a part of that. Well, thank you, sir.
Well, let's just hope that they keep this promise.
Hopefully they can keep this promise and pull it off because they are effectively pissing off a lot of multi-billion-dollar junk food companies. They're pissing off big pharma. They're pissing off health insurance companies.
Everybody knows about big pharma and big oil and whatever. They don't really think about big ag. You know, like that's mafioso stuff. So, but hopefully they can keep the promise and they don't do stupid things. Because I always am concerned when the government comes in and says, yes, we're going to fix it. We're going to, make you healthier and happier and do all this stuff. I want to see exactly what they're doing. Me personally, and I'm no expert, so take my opinion with a grain of salt, but I think diversifying the American stockpile of foods made in America and not having to come from anywhere else will help us in two ways. It'll keep our food security high, keep threats of parasites, economic threats, poisons from other countries away, and that it also will create a demand for more actual farmers. Not like, how do I explain this? So instead of, one farmer with a lot of land that only does one crop, it's a bunch of different crops. And you need more people for different crops. And now, mind you, it might for a time get more expensive to get certain things. But I think in the end, you'll be able to get your leeks and your broccoli, your onions and your potatoes, and your steak and your pork and your chicken and your bacon and all that stuff for cheaper in the long run because it'll be sourced locally. And then the expensive stuff will be what it should be, and that's the exotics, the stuff that we can't make here. Like we could make a banana here, but it'd have to be in a greenhouse and it would be like $5 a banana. So that's fine, But, imagine fields instead of fields and fields and fields and fields and fields and fields of just corn, and then fields and fields and fields and fields next year of just soy. You would see plotted out. Like if you look at what is it? What's the country? The Netherlands or the Northern European farmers, their land plots and stuff like that are beautiful the way they're set up, and you can see the different things they produce. They have a lot of greenhouses because it gets cold up there, but and America can do it. And part of making us healthy is making incentivizing the healthier choice, because that's the only thing government can really do. It can't produce. Hell, it can't even chew bubblegum and walk at the same time, but it can give incentives. And that's what subsidies are. And I'm mostly against subsidies, mind you, but I'm still saying this. And that's where it's like, well, why not subsidize the guy that does microgreens and cabbages and that kind of stuff to be able to set up the greenhouses to be able to grow these all year, and actually subsidize that instead of just subsidizing the big ag companies, or subsidizing the farmers so they can buy the big ag companies' poisons and the big ag companies' seeds and the big tractor. Don't forget
I'd love to see more of that. That's what the SBA is for, is helping small upstart businesses, you know, because that's the backbone of America. Well, it used to be, at least. I mean, the majority of our food used to come from local farms. 91+% of our food came from early 1900s and before, until big agriculture took over. After the Great Depression is what happened, and then the consolidation. A lot of farms got bought up by really big companies, and then you started seeing these hog farms with hundreds of thousands of hogs stuffed into a silo and pumped full of antibiotics. And
to a certain extent, you're still going to see stuff like that, but on a smaller scale, because a slaughterhouse isn't pretty. There's no way you can turn it into...
No, but there's certainly better ways of doing it. The way that if you've seen the videos, they're just horrifying.
No, I'm familiar with the videos.
So when you look at the mass production facilities,
well, you can
scary
you can
stuff.
smell them from miles away too.
Yeah, I'll turn you into a vegan for a couple months.
Nah, it just make me not want to eat that product.
Well, now we do have access to some healthier foods. That's starting to change, thank God. But wow, yeah. So let's go ahead and let's jump in and watch. For all of you guys that missed this, which I'm sure is a lot of us, I only got to watch a piece of it myself today. There was a press briefing today where the MAHA initiative, the new food pyramid, was presented. So we're going to hear from Carolyn Levitt and then RFK Jr. here and a little bit more. Let's go ahead and let's check this out, fam. Here we go.
What's up, everyone? Lovely officials with me today. All right. Dr. Carson, come on up. Thank you so much. Good morning and Happy New Year, everybody. It's great to see you. It's great to be with a very packed room. I'm sorry we kept you all very busy over the holiday break. And I know there is a lot of news out there today, both here at home and around the world. I will be happy to take all of your questions on all of that news. But first, I'm really honored to be standing up here today with esteemed members of the President's Cabinet and his health team to make an important announcement with respect to the President's domestic promise to make America healthy again as we kick off the new year. In less than a year in office, the President and his incredible MAHA team have made real progress on this front. Here are just a few of the significant MAHA achievements thus far. More than a dozen food manufacturers and trade associations have made commitments to remove artificial and petroleum-based food dyes from their products.
Yes,
the Trump administration took strong action to bar hospitals from performing dangerous, irreversible, life-altering transgender procedures on children.
Child mutilation.
The Trump administration announced funding awards to states through the...
We probably just pissed off a lot of people there because people jump on the bandwagon when they hear about a minority being oppressed. But these are children, and I would hope people get to grow up into the full, through the whole development process before they decide which gender they want to be.
For anybody, and I'm going to piss off more people, but look it up.
Because a lot of these kids
regret it after. Doesn't know what gender-affirming care is. I'm not going to talk about the psychological side and them being groomed into it, but gender-affirming care is getting them, like, say, little boys, getting them on puberty blockers so they don't generate the secondary sex differences that boys do. And what does puberty blockers do? They keep you from developing, and you can't pause puberty. You can't do it. It doesn't come back. Now, using these drugs for precocious puberty, like if, the person's like 7, 8 years old and it's not the right time for it, you can do that. But once it's done, it's done. Mm-hmm. And then cutting into little girls, and you're like, oh, they're not doing it. It's like, well, Chloe Cole, she had her breast removed at 16. They convinced her to do that.
Yep, she regrets it.
She
regretted it,
and they fast tracked her into it. It isn't like back in the day where transsexuals would have to go through years of counseling just to make sure they actually have this condition. Yeah, because it is a mental condition. It's a body dysmorphia condition. Mm-hmm. It's one of the only ones that we actually. Cut you up to make it happen, by the way. It used to take a long time of counseling and then a long time of medical screenings to make it okay. Like, go look up the top surgeries for the girls that go wrong of all the, and just the nasty stuff. These doctors are butchers. If you're cutting into little kids like that and you're giving them drugs, you're a butcher. And I think you should go to prison.
Yeah.
I am down with this.
Yeah.
Now,
100%.
adults,
We
you're
can
an
talk
adult.
about this further. We can do another episode
but
on this.
This
but-
really makes me mad. What they're doing to kids.
This shit's disturbing. This is really dark, disturbing stuff.
If anybody says, "Oh, you know, well, why not? Like the kid will kill themselves." No, they won't. You're talking about butchering kids.
You are talking about chemically castrating children. That's exactly what these drugs are used for.
Oh, and here's the other thing for the boys that get on the puberty blockers. There's not enough down there to get the surgery to make the outie and innie. So they have to cut parts out of their colon to do the thing. So, yeah.
How do you even know that you're not a boy when you haven't gone through puberty yet?
And a new study came out that said 90%.
Our brains aren't done developing until we're like 24, 25 oftentimes. It's still developing, of course, but the full adult development.
Well, even just
the what are we doing?
Intellectual understanding of boy girl.
Yeah.
Isn't even there.
Yeah. And speaking of boy girl and feminine and masculinity, we're going to get back into that for sure. Hopefully next episode, as long as the news doesn't keep on popping off like this, but we'll see what happens. This is so super relevant that we have to jump into this now, fam. But I'm looking to grow more as a man and to be able to offer more and be more present in relationships. So stay tuned for upcoming episodes because we're going to get deep into relationships and the masculine feminine dynamic.
Well, I'm just going to be a hermit for the rest of my life. So, that's cool.
It's what a lot of men have chosen to do because it's so hard to find a good match anymore. I saw a heartbreaking video the other day that I got to make sure I find again for that next upcoming episode to share with you all because, boy, it said a lot. It was a man just professing what he'd been going through and how he really couldn't find love and just all he wanted to do was be a family and to be a father. And
how dare he want that? That's chauvinism.
Yeah.
Well, I bet you he's going to tell us.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because it's evil to.
Yeah. It's evil to have do the thing that we've done for 200,000 freaking years.
Celebrating the family unit is white supremacist patriarchy.
Oh, yeah.
Don't pay attention to the fact that 2 million years of human history contradicts that.
And if you don't believe that was actually put out by the Smithsonian in the African American, and they pulled it down. Real
being
quick.
on time, that's also something white, apparently. God, the racism.
So the good news is
the new racism,
just like the food pyramid, which is a bunch of crap. So the good news is there's a lot of the pyramids being flipped upside down. Come on, guys on the left. This is what you wanted. You wanted healthy food.
They used to. I remember. Yeah. Oh no, I remember when I was progressive and I was an anti-war progressive during the war in Iraq and following that and. It was a big deal. A lot of progressive people were eating healthy and making fun of Republicans and conservatives for being all fat and just, I remember the memes. It would show a really big fat guy with his wife being pulled in a chariot by some poor person while they're being tourists in some other country.
Oh, yeah.
This was a modern conception of people on the right that were overeating and not very healthy.
Well,
all of a sudden, people on the right were like, whoa, this organic phase and stuff, that's actually, they got a good point there. They started becoming more healthy. And then the fat shaming thing happened. And all of a sudden, the left is celebrating unhealthy. And I'm like, whoa, what is happening? It just keeps flipping back and forth.
Oh, you know where body positivity came from, too? Originally, it was for the women who got acid thrown on them and burned them up. So, instead of judging people for their looks, that movement was started by, and for the women who got tragically scarred in, the backward places in the world by having acid thrown on them.
Wow.
That's what it was. And then the fats. And I'm a fat, so I can say the fats. The fats took it over. I'm a fat. I'm 250 pounds, dude. I'm a fat.
Well, and having healthy self-complex, because some people are big boned, but when we're talking about obesity and unhealthy levels, it's you can't just. What are you doing? You're enabling people's self-destruction.
Yeah,
and it gets really expensive for us as taxpayers to be paying for 40% obese nation. It really unhealthy people. The levels of diabetes in children are,
and 40% of children that are obese.
What are we letting go on here, fam? So let's let Carolyn pick back up because this.
Yeah, that was a tangent, but that pisses me off.
Historic though. This is huge. And there's the new food pyramid in the background there, guys. And actually, you know what? I'm going to bring it up real fast just so you can see it here. Boom. This is the new food pyramid.
It kind of looks like a merkin.
I like it. I like how it's upside down. There's the fucking grains on the very bottom, right where they should be. Here's all the healthy fats, protein that we need. I can see olive oil in there. If you're going to be drinking milk, guys, try and find milk that is not pasteurized from a local farmer. That is going to have all the enzymes that help you digest it, and it's actually healthy for you.
Well, that's another hurdle you got to get over because farmers aren't allowed to sell unpasteurized milk because people do get sick off of it.
You can,
but
if it's not stored properly.
But
sure.
hey, if the
But
government,
if you're drinking it fresh, you're fine.
if the government gives us incentives to maintain very, very clean facilities and all that stuff, because like in Europe, you
but
can
look
get
at that red meat's
milk.
back up there.
Well,
oh, man.
You got your meat in your roughage, and then
salmon, yogurt,
and the core is
veggies, and so this is the stuff you're supposed to eat the most of, fam. Right up here, this stuff: healthy fats, healthy proteins.
I think butter should be a little bit higher.
Notice
up on the
there's
list,
no
but
processed food on this pyramid in either. The old food pyramid. Look at the thumbnail for this video. It's the exact opposite. It's just a bunch of grains up top. And it's got like the protein down at the very bottom. At the very top, it says you're allowed to still have 5 to 10% of junk processed food too, like McDonald's fries and shit like that. So yeah, apologies for all the cursing this episode, fam. I'm trying to do better at that. But yeah, I love this. This is awesome. So back to Carolyn. Let's roll.
Rural health
let's bring it back a
transformation
little.
program and funding awards to gender procedures on children.
Yeah.
The Trump administration announced funding awards to states through the Rural Health Transformation Program, an unprecedented $50 billion investment established under President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. The Trump administration has also worked with 18 states across the country to ban junk food purchases using SNAP benefits starting this year. And thank you for leading that effort, Secretary Rollins. Additionally, President...
People that are pissed off about this, sadly, they are addicted to sugar.
And, I don't care. The people that are like, don't take it. I don't care. I don't care about your opinion on this one.
No. This is free food benefits that you get. We want to help you be able to eat, but let's make sure it's healthy food because we care about your lives and your children's lives. We're not just going to let you use all your SNAP benefits on Coca-Cola and Cheez-Its. Sorry, that's not a proper use of tax money.
And learn to cook. Learn to cook, guys.
I'm not going to keep encouraging these shitty companies for feeding us shitty food. No, thanks.
Trump took historic action to secure most favored nation drug pricing and secured deals with major pharmaceutical companies to massively lower the cost of prescription drugs. And those effects are being implemented as we speak. Americans are going to continue to see the result of these incredible deals.
I see people complaining already that this isn't happening. I don't see they're coming. It's happening as we speak. It's unrolling.
And when you tell somebody about it who's, on the, hate Trump train or hate Republicans train, when you tell them about this stuff, they're just like, ugh, and they just get mad immediately about it and be like, it's just like, can you just stop bitching and moaning and whining?
Can we actually try and look at things objectively? Because you don't even have to like Trump to see that he's doing some good things. And we should want our president to be doing a good job. And when he's not doing a good job, fine, call it out. But don't just automatically jump to think everything that this administration is doing is bad. Because this is fucking huge.
Yeah.
Language once again.
Yeah. And the other thing about the people who just get pissed off, like when the Republicans are doing it or Trump is doing it, is they don't even pay attention long enough to see whether or not it actually gets done. They just assume right off the bat that like, because these people are evil. That's not really it. And then the conspiracies that go around it, it's Israel's a part of this because I don't know, Israel has stock in some, in the healthy foods. Yeah. Because remember, it's always the Jews, Joos.
Right. Yeah. Got to have a scapegoat, right?
Yeah, and they tried white people for a while, but the white people are getting kind of mad, and there's a lot of us.
Well,
and they were just like, no, we're not playing your game anymore. Bye.
We're
going to
still
do our own
minority
thing
on the planet, but people stood up for themselves, and then the non-racist people around us, of all different colors, were starting to say, wait, that's racism too, what you guys are doing. So don't do that towards white people. You're just going to bring about more racism. We're starting to see the encouragement of more far right all around the world and far left around the world. This is not good. We don't want to encourage the extremes.
Yeah, so we need
to start seeing each other as human beings once again. Let's try that.
Healthy mind, healthy nation, healthy community.
Yeah, y'all are so easily polarized. Come on, let's stop. Bam, please. we got to get Joe Biden. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
On the soundboard.
Yeah.
All right,
President cut. And I know President Trump and this team behind me worked incredibly hard to lower those drug costs for Americans. On Monday, the CDC adopted common sense updates to America's childhood vaccination schedule based solely on the gold standard of science.
Trust the
This
science.
action empowers parents and physicians to make the best individualized decisions to protect our children, while also restoring much needed confidence in our public health system.
They only got
And
rid
as
of a few
MAHA
vaccines and they just spread them out more, so we're not giving kids 40 vaccinations at once. There was definitely some side effects occurring.
Oh yeah. Well, and also like
science.
Why do babies need to be vaccinated so heavily? Like, why does your baby need to be vaccinated for like venereal diseases? And they'll be like, oh, because if the mother has it, it's like that's actually pretty
you could
rare.
be testing
that
the
it
mother
is-
too, you know.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, it's actually pretty rare for the kid to get, you know, like
Yeah.
say, like, you know, an HPV vaccine or a what was the one? It was a hepatitis vaccine for babies, and it's just like, dude, and they're like, well, the vaccines don't hurt the kids. Like, it's like, yeah, but the agonists that they put in there, you know, they used to put mercury in it.
Yeah.
You know, but so the agonist, anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But the agonists they put in there, like, we still don't know the effects of the new ones that we're using.
Long
because
story
the
short,
old ones
we
messed
have
us
not
up.
done the long-term peer-reviewed studies that we do on medications
You know what
for
I got when
our
I was a kid?
vaccinations. And we need to start doing them. That's all that RFK was saying the whole time. It's
Yeah.
just we just need to do more thorough testing.
Yeah.
The ones that have thorough tests, we're going to keep in. The ones that need more testing, we're going to look at the science.
Yeah, I just got the MMR and the DPT,
Yeah.
which is the measles, mumps,
No one
and
trusts
rubella.
RFK
and
anymore, though, because he supported Trump, even though he literally was one of the people that helped champion and really get the environmental movement moving. I mean, he saved rivers all across this country. He started the River Keepers. He was a darling of the environmental movement, a darling of the left for a long, long, long time until he supported Trump.
Yeah, he was a lot better than Greta
Because y'all are
Thunberg.
so partisan. You can't even see around. Let's go.
I'm
Back to
very
Carolyn.
grateful for that. So thank you, Secretary Kennedy. To build on this progress, the Trump administration is now updating federal nutrition standards and guidelines to ensure that Americans have the most accurate, data-driven information supported by science and hard facts, not special interests or partisan ideology.
I think they showed the
President
data
Trump
great.
has tasked
Yeah,
two of the
you can see
great
the data.
individuals behind me, USDA Secretary Rollins and HHS Secretary Kennedy, with collaborating on this vitally important project. And today they are here to officially unveil the 2025 to 2030 Dietary Guidelines for America. These new guidelines are informed by the best and most reliable research on health and nutrition, particularly as it relates to the role of our diets and the prevalence of chronic disease in the country. They are also these guidelines are easy to read and understand, so every American, young and old, can access this information that literally has the power to change lives. But these are not just an updated guideline. These are the foundation to all federal food programs in our country. These new guidelines are going to update the food that is served to America's children in our public
instead
schools,
of that prison food
to
they
the
get in
plates
food.
that are served to our great men in
Oh, real quick,
uniform
pause it.
in our military. Our
It was Michelle Obama that, you know, tried to do the whatever public school food initiative, and the food just turned into crap. Like worse than the prison food I ate when I went to
Ooh,
school. And like
what?
I
Really?
went to school in the 90s and the noughties, you know, the knots. And that was prison food. And if it got worse than that, man, like, and now we have this, which is like, yeah, that was all crap.
Yeah.
And it's funny. This is how people get sucked into evil. You know, like Obama was just like, you know, hope and all this stuff, and we're going to bring things
Great
together.
slogans.
We're going to get rid of the wars. Well, didn't get rid of the wars, made them worse. Then the bringing us together actually
Opened up 7 new
the,
theaters of conquest.
after
Yeah.
the Trayvon Martin thing, he became, well, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon Martin, and then he just started being divisive.
The
and
drone
like,
strike of the 14-year-old American citizen,
Abdul Aman al-Awlaki.
the nephew.
Yeah, but then I believe it was Trump killed his sister later on during his.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
But I think she was an adult. I'm not too sure. But yeah. Anyway.
That one was collateral damage, or that one was an
I don't know.
purposeful
I
strike.
don't know if it was targeted at her.
Yeah. Oh
But
God.
yeah.
God.
So anyway, war is bad.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk specifically about what's going on in Venezuela right now because that's a foot and mouth kind of thing. So we'll see.
We could cover that. We could let you guys know about the world bankers, and we could talk about what's the number one guy at BlackRock that has the most oil bonds in the world, from Venezuelan oil bonds. Of course, we could talk about the terrorist activity going on there, the training that's going on with groups from Iran.
And then then we could talk
the
about
communist infiltration and the support from China and Russia.
And then we could talk about the Somali fraud and
the fact that it was not a legitimate presidency either, that he actually stole that 27 years ago. Yeah. There's a lot we could go into there.
So we're going to stay away from that. We're going to do happy food, good food. Yeah, food. We're talking about food. It's a good news roundup.
We can actually think more clearly about things if we start eating better. I think that might help. Yeah.
And have better poops, so it'd start our days better. You know, like instead of being all like, you know, anally retentive and bound up and pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of the world's problems could be solved by just having more, regular and good poops.
Some friggin' omega-3s in the diet too.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. Stabilize the mood.
Just saying.
Yeah. All right, Pam. Let's go.
Veterans and the food that they are consuming
this is really good. This part right here.
America's children in our country. These new guidelines are going to update the food that is served to America's children in our public schools, to the plates that are served to our great men in uniform in our military, our veterans, and the food that they are consuming at the VA. And these new guidelines are also going to impact nutritional programs for the needy in our country, such as WIC and Head Start.
Hell yeah.
Unfortunately, for decades, federal dollars has promoted low-quality, highly processed foods that lead to scores of long-term health issues, which means Americans have gone broke because of these health issues.
Yep.
Faulty dietary guidelines of the past stacked the deck against healthy eating and food options for everyday American families, which has fueled the chronic disease epidemic and jacked up the healthcare costs of households across the country. This failed approach in our public health system ends today. When these guidelines are followed, Americans will be saving themselves thousands of dollars. If we want to cut healthcare costs in our country, we must become a healthier country. Yes. According to the CEA, poor diet is the root cause of obesity, which accounts for $400 billion in medical spending each year. A healthier America will lead to a more affordable America. The new dietary guidelines from the Trump administration will ensure federal dollars go to real food to improve public health and therefore save the American people their hard-earned cash over the course of their lives. So with that, I am going to hand it over to Secretary Kennedy. The great people behind me will give remarks, and then we'll get into Q&A for the officials that are here on this specific topic. They will leave because they're all very busy people, and then I will open it up to Q&A with the rest of you on the rest of the news in the world. So
RFK Jr. is picking up where his uncle left off. JFK was the one that instituted the physical fitness standards in the U.S. He knew that you need. Remember, he knew that we needed to have a healthy populace.
He didn't like the fats either, and he was actually pretty politically incorrect about it.
Well, good for him.
Well, yeah, and
why are we letting ourselves succumb to sloth?
Back in that day too, if you were a fat, you had to be like a really terrible, lazy, awful person because, like back then everybody was fit.
And we had to work hard too, there's different kinds of work and we weren't sitting as much.
And also we had to worry about the commies
all the time. Yeah.
That's another
we
thing.
went through 2 serious world wars.
And then an ongoing Cold War. I want to say
we actually had our factories still here at home. So guys were doing like really good,
so
blue-collar work that was providing a living and kept them active.
We should just appreciate how good we have it that Carolyn Leavitt is our press secretary.
She's so
because the last 2 that we had under Biden, we had Peppermint Patty and then we had Cringe Jean-Pierre, and they were just hard to listen to. I didn't realize I missed Jen Psaki once we got Jean-Pierre because like Jen Psaki, I really didn't like her, but she did her job well. She was really good at putting out the propaganda and doing the thing. Cringe Jean-Pierre was just like bad and derisive, and
I used to know
anyway. So we
people
got
on the left who could actually talk about their representatives that they weren't happy with. Now you can't do that. You can't admit that.
You'll be exiled.
Yeah, you'll be exiled.
You'll be put in a crystal and sent off.
There's a few brave souls. There's a few brave souls out there.
Thank you, and we'll start with Secretary Kennedy.
All right, let's go.
Thank you.
Today marks a decisive change in federal nutrition policy, made possible by President Trump's leadership and the work of MAHA moms and public health advocates who demanded reform. Today, in accordance with President Trump's directive, Brooke and I will release the Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2025 to 2030, the most significant reset of federal nutrition policy in history. These guidelines replace corporate-driven assumptions with common sense goals and gold standard scientific integrity. These new guidelines will revolutionize our nation's food culture and make America healthy again. For decades, Americans have grown sicker while healthcare costs have soared. The reason is clear. The hard truth is that our government has been lying to us to protect corporate profit-taking, telling us that these food-like substances were beneficial to public health. Federal policy promoted and subsidized highly processed foods and refined carbohydrates.
Sure did.
And turned a blind eye to the disastrous consequences.
How did people fall for
Today,
this?
the lies stop. The new guidelines recognize that whole, nutrient-dense food is the most effective path to better health and lower healthcare costs.
You just mean food?
Protein and healthy fats are essential and were wrongly discouraged in prior dietary guidelines. We are ending the war on saturated fats.
Yes.
Diets rich in vegetables and fruits reduce disease risk more effectively than many drugs. Whole grains outperform refined carbohydrates.
Of course.
Added sugars, especially sugar-sweetened beverages, drive metabolic disease.
Yep.
And today our government declares war on added sugar.
Let's go.
Highly processed foods loaded with additives, added sugar, and excess salt damage health and should be avoided. As Secretary of Health and Human Services, my message is clear: eat real food.
Yeah, food.
Nothing matters more for healthcare outcomes, economic productivity, military readiness, and fiscal stability. The dietary guidelines shape dozens of federal feeding programs, including Head Start. These standards affect 45 million school lunches every day.
Yep.
Meals for 1.3 million active duty service members, and food served to 9 million veterans in VA hospitals. Today begins the work of aligning those programs with affordable, whole, nutrient-dense food. Implementation requires coordination across the government. I'm working with many of my fellow cabinet secretaries to deliver results. I want to thank Bobby Mukamala, thank you very much, who is the president of the American Medical Association, for committing to mobilize the medical community on nutrition. And I thank also the American Academy of Pediatrics for partnering on this effort.
Yes.
I also look forward to working with Dr. Jay Bhattacharya and Dr. Marty McCary to fund and prioritize rigorous nutrition research at the NIH and at the FDA.
Wow.
The
That's what
stakes
should have
are
been happening.
measurable and severe. A Johns Hopkins analysis estimates that 48% of every federal taxpayer dollar now goes to healthcare. The CDC reports that 90% of healthcare spending treats chronic disease. That means that 40%, 40 cents of every dollar that taxpayers pay in this country is going to treat diseases that could be averted through good food.
Wow, man.
The United States has the highest obesity and type 2 diabetes rate in the developed world.
That's insane.
We spend 3 times more per capita than the European Union on healthcare, yet our life expectancy is 5 years lower, largely due to diet-related chronic disease.
Yep.
Our childhood obesity rate is 5 times higher than countries like France. 1/3 of U.S. teens have prediabetes, over 35% are overweight or obese, and 20% of young adults have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. 77% of military-aged Americans are ineligible for military service.
Wow.
Because of diet-related conditions. If a foreign adversary sought to destroy the health of our children, to cripple our economy, to weaken our national security,
Invest in
there
Coca-Cola.
would be no better strategy than to addict us to ultra-processed foods.
Really?
Yeah, they couldn't have done it better.
Our own government helped to drive these cataclysmic changes in our diet.
Corporate
The
justice.
damage is real, it is
treasonous
preventable,
bastards.
and
WEF.
President Trump has ordered it to end. If the United States reduced obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and Alzheimer's to Japanese levels, we would save approximately $600 billion a year.
God, dang. Then we can keep funding Ukraine.
Of Medicare's projected long-term deficit, or $5,000 per family annually. Current policy worsens the problem. 42 million Americans rely on SNAP, where common purchases include sugary drinks, candy, and chips. 78% of SNAP recipients are enrolled in Medicaid, and 90% of Medicaid spending goes to chronic disease.
God, man, it's a racket.
These incentives raise healthcare costs and undermine health.
Yeah.
This must change. The new framework centers on protein and healthy fats, vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. And you can see the food pyramid here. It's upside down, a lot of people say. But it was actually upside down before, and we just righted it.
Yep.
For the first time, the Dietary Guidelines directly address ultra-processed foods and set firm sugar limits in federal procurement, driving a significant reduction in added sugar in school meals. I want to thank President Trump for his leadership and the partners committed to ensuring that federal food dollars support real food and better health. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want to use your SNAP benefits for junk food? Sorry.
No, use it for the healthy food, and if you want junk food, go get a job.
Welcome to Tough
My
Love.
friend Brooke Rollins, who is an extraordinary collaborator on this.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. What
Happy New
an
Year.
honor to be here. I think this is Caroline's first press conference back, and what a great way to start the new year, 2026. I want to thank Secretary Kennedy. Your commitment to the well-being of Americans is such a blessing to this nation. We have been working on these new dietary guidelines really since almost day one. Bobby and I were voted on the same day and sworn in on the same day. So I think the partnership from minute one has been real and extraordinary. As Secretary Kennedy mentioned, America is in the middle of the worst chronic health crisis in our nation's history. Over 40% of the roughly 73 million children in the United States have at least one chronic health condition, and nearly 90% of healthcare spending goes toward treating people with chronic disease. Secretary Kennedy mentioned that, but it is really important to keep underscoring that fact. This crisis is unacceptable. It prevents Americans from living healthy and happy lives. And for decades under both Republicans and Democrats,
but we're so addicted to the food that it's hard for us to hear that. I could just feel the hairs raising on a bunch of people right there. But it's true. You're right.
But
you're 100% right.
I don't care. If you're mad that you can't poison your children anymore,
well, let's be clear. We are poisoning our children. First off, we've really got to let that sink in. This stuff is a lot worse than you think. It's
I'm not being
lot
hyperbolic. I'm actually being quite reserved.
Yeah.
Because I could say we're actually murdering our children in slow motion.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, if you want your children to have 5 or 10 less lifespan, 5 or 10 less years on their lifespan, if you want them to have some really crippling health conditions towards the end of their life, or even earlier in their life, like diabetes, 40% of the children in this country are diabetic now.
Hey, Ninja Bat.
God. Yeah. What's up, Ninja Bat?
Yeah. So I'm going to read.
Was that sarcasm?
Yeah, I'm going to read it as sarcasm.
On the hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully, Monsanto Insurance Healthcare don't collapse. Yeah.
I don't want the healthcare to collapse.
The gigantic corporate monsters that are stepping on our throats.
With that, though.
Yeah.
Monsanto.
It'd be terrible if they collapsed. They'd fall on us, you know?
Yeah. I remember when Obama appointed an Monsanto executive to head the federal, the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. A little bit of conflict of interest there, but, I guess you got to scratch the backs of those that got you in office. Huh?
Monsanto's a poison company, by the way. And they're in charge of food.
Literally. Yeah.
So
they invented Agent Orange, and then they watered it down and created Roundup.
What was their name before they were Monsanto?
Assholes Incorporated.
I forget. But anyway, and Monsanto bought Bayer, or Bayer bought
Umbrella
Monsanto.
Corporation.
Yeah, Umbrella Corporation. Yeah, exactly. Where's the zombie virus? Where are you hiding that?
Still working on that one. There goes Skittles, Fruit Loops, and Frosted Flakes. Well, you can still buy them, but yeah, you're not going to get them easily for SNAP anymore, and they're certainly not going to be given to kids in schools anymore for their Head Start program or anything, which is great, man. Thank God. Let's actually have some healthy, intelligent children now.
Well, and
that can focus because they're not going to be giving us symptoms of ADD because we put them on so much sugar.
There's a lot better, like, sweet treats that you can eat, not just healthy wise, but also just taste better than the super like Skittles. Skittles don't really actually taste that great when you think about it. Oh, Dow.
Roundup.
Oh, Roundup was Dow. Yeah, Dow.
Was it Dow first? Dow before Monsanto? Okay, there it is. Yeah. Carnivore diet rules. It does. Yeah.
Not for everybody, but yeah. Or having more, eat like an omnivore in the case of, like, you got the sharp pointy teeth, so you're eating a lot of protein and fat from meat.
If you're having really bad inflammation, maybe you go on a carnivore for a month or two, and then you go back to omnivore.
But then you eat your roughage and the stuff that takes some, like, breaking down, that's super nutrient rich and low in calorie. Low in calories, nutrient rich. You get the calorie from the fat and the protein. And here's the thing: what is your body made of? Mostly fat and protein and water. So drink your water. Have you drinking your water today?
Your brain especially runs off of fat.
Yeah, so
needs a lot of fat.
Your body needs that. We don't need
trans fats.
Well,
not much of them.
Yeah, but
very dangerous
as far as, like, the carbohydrates, your body's not made out of carbohydrate,
and that's what's causing the weight gain. It's the carbs. Yeah, it's the sugars that they turn straight into in our system. It's the sugar industry that made people think that it was butter and meat that was making people fat. It never was that. It was the sugars. Of course, then we started eating margarine and stuff that was even worse. Like, margarine literally re-solidifies in that same form that it's in that country crock tub in your arteries. Like, don't eat that stuff, guys.
Yeah, well, and it's also, like, I swear it's a petroleum product. It's not.
Well, it is. Yeah, no, ants won't eat it. Yeah, you put it out there. It's just seed oils, and seed oils are awful for you guys.
We Irish got away with potatoes, yeah, but that was only after the Americas were discovered. They were eating sheep.
Cholesterol is necessary brain food.
And turnips and parsnips and other stuff like that before the potatoes.
Potatoes have a lot of nutrients in them, though.
And actually, heirloom potatoes are pretty damn good for it. If you get, like, the Wilcoxon potatoes, and you get, like, the colored, like, where the inside flesh is colored different, or if you've ever seen an heirloom white potato, it's this big weird knobby thing.
Just like tomatoes.
But it tastes so good.
Yep.
That
stuff's great for you. Yeah. So you can eat that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Cholesterol is a necessary brain food.
It is.
Yes, but it's the inflammation in your body, and then cholesterol acts as Band-Aids and stuff. So when you have inflammation in your blood vessels, the cholesterol goes there to try to patch it, but the inflammation is coming from sugars, carbohydrates, toxic
and then too much cholesterol causes. So it's the response is overreacting to something that's still in the body that we need to address the root of, so that the cholesterol can.
Oh, I know.
I
know you know.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, just to let other people know too.
For everyone else listening, fam. Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome, Ninja. It's good to see you, brother. Let's let this fine lady finish up.
Low quality, highly processed foods and pharmaceutical interventions instead of prevention.
Yes.
As a result, nutrient-dense whole foods grown by America's farmers and ranchers have been increasingly displaced.
Yep.
The Trump administration is acutely aware of this danger, and today this announcement is making a major step in doing something about it. Thankfully, the solution is simple and should be non-controversial. Eat real food. This is the main message of the new Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2025 to 2030, which encourage households and schools to prioritize whole, nutrient-dense foods. That means more protein, more dairy, more healthy fats, more whole grains, more fruits and vegetables, whether they are fresh, frozen, canned, or dried. We are finally putting real food back at the center of the American diet. Real food that nourishes the body, restores health, fuels energy, and builds strength. This pivot also leans into the abundant, affordable, and healthy food supply already available from America's incredible farmers and ranchers. By making milk, raising cattle, and growing wholesome fruits, vegetables, and grains, They hold the key to solving our national health crisis. And President Trump is mobilizing government to ensure families across America have greater access to these healthy foods. In the past 12 months, inflation has slowed and wages have risen for the first time in 5 years. Under President Trump's leadership, prices for everyday staples are declining, and more help is on the way.
Get ready for the biggest tax returns of your lives, fam, because it is coming.
On a real quick note, about, like they mentioned, you know, the cattle and everything. Also, if we want to rebuild our grasslands, cows are the best. They are grassland building machines.
Yeah,
because they eat the grass, and they also like all the other plants, and they'll consume seeds and other stuff like that, and then they poop it out,
fertilize,
and their hoofs are designed to aerate the soil and allow moisture to get into it.
This
and
planet is
allow
so
it to
cool,
breathe, man. And allow the roots to grow down while the grass grows up.
Mother Nature knows what she's doing.
Well, and the thing is we need to do that too, because we killed off the buffalo.
Oh, yes, we did.
And that's what
used to aerate the
soil for a massive portion of our country. And you know, and we already know this because in Africa, which really, like in Africa, they were the original people trying to figure out like this, trying to reverse desertification and getting the grasslands back. Because what ended up happening in Africa is like, no, we need to save the grass, so we're going to contain all the herder peoples into certain areas and only just let them go there. And you know, there was no grasslands, huge droughts, you know, what used to be little streams and stuff.
Desertification.
Yeah, because they're like, well, cows are eating all the grass, so we're going to put them in these areas. But once they let them out and actually let the tribal people and the commercial people graze their lands and move their cows around responsibly, it started coming back.
Yeah.
Because also cows deposit seeds.
Get Bill Gates out of everything food. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I hope they do something with the farmers too.
Well, if you look
should lower their property taxes to zero, so they don't have to so they don't have to sell to data centers or BlackRock. Yeah, great point, man.
Yeah, well, that would also allow it for them to have generational wealth in capital in the form of land.
Yeah,
which, you know, gold and silver is cool, but
we should create tax incentives for small farmers, and we should start giving that land back. We also somehow, some way.
We need to go after big tractor and right to repair, because if you have one of them big John Deere machines or these other big machines, you're not allowed to repair them yourself.
Oh, that's right.
And they got computers all through them, so you can't do nothing with them without having the proprietary codes and all that stuff. And it's like, dude, the machine is the mule for the farmer.
And if it's just like a screw loose or a bolt loose, and you do
you're not allowed to fix
voided
it.
your warranty. Yeah.
Well, and even beyond that, you know, they make a lot of things.
And they can tell if you do it.
They make a lot of things like, you know, say like, you know, you want to swap a piston out because, you know, it got banged up, or, you know, something like that, which it's a little complicated, but it's not as complicated. Well, with the new machines, you can't even do it.
Yeah.
But if you crack anything open and try to get into it, there's sensors that will know. And you're not allowed to do that. So basically, you don't own your own machines. And the same thing goes with like cell phones and other stuff. The right to repair fight has been going for a while. And it's the same thing. Big tractor is just as bad as all the rest of it. And John Deere, I'm looking at you. Since you're going to
run amok.
And since John Deere is going to bring their factories and all this stuff back here into this country.
Get it together, fam.
You need to get it together. You need to pull all that crap out of it. And you need to let farmers be able to fix their machines.
Yeah, because we're going to stop buying your crap, and we're going to start supporting that guy that starts that new business where he doesn't have that kind of crap written into his operation, where you can actually fix your tractor.
Well, and here's the thing.
So somebody do that,
John
please.
Deere, if you want to make money, you just make the parts and make it easy for people to buy them to fix them, because tractors break all the time. They're always going to need parts.
Yeah,
if
don't
you make
make
the
us
parts
Bud
here,
Light
you will
you.
make money.
We will.
Yeah,
Bud Light
we
you.
will Bud Light you.
Come on, let's go.
And, you know, John Deere, I do like their gators, though, and you can work on those easy enough because it doesn't.
They can make great products. So whoever's running the company that's turning it into a giant greed machine needs to maybe just go back to their business ethics class or go to church or something. Remember that this is a sacred planet.
That's where government can actually do something, because that is a predatory. That's in order to create.
That is predatory
in order
practice,
to have
though,
a
right?
fair market. Like what people talk about, in order to have a fair market, that's where the government intervenes. Not saying, oh, you know, you can't do this, little person, because you don't have this permit and this and this and this and this. No, screw that. Go after the big guys. If you want to win me around, and I'm still skeptical about this administration, the people in the FBI, the people, you know, in Congress and the Senate, you know, even people I voted for, I'm still skeptical about them. So if you want to win me over for real, do this,
please. Now, let's do it.
But this is good news. You know, I know I sound, you know, angry and stuff because I am. We get to talk about this stuff. This is the stuff that pisses me off and puts me in a bad mood and makes me, you know, kind of an asshole to my friends sometimes. So, but this is real.
Okay, so it looks like there's a little bit more. So let's let her speak a little further, and then I got some shorts to share with you guys, and we got some more good news. Okay, let's go.
Recent data show that fruits, vegetables, dairy, and proteins, including eggs, pork, and ground beef, are becoming even more affordable every day for our American people. American households enjoy the most affordable and abundant food in the world, and today's release only reinforces that reality. A healthy meal is within reach for all American families. These new dietary guidelines are a framework which is meant to be customized to meet the needs, the preferences, and the financial status of all American families.
Once more people start buying that healthy food, there will be a higher demand. The prices will start to drop. They'll start making more money.
A meal including such items as pork, or eggs, or whole milk, or cheese, tomatoes, other fresh and frozen fruits and vegetables, whole grain bread, corn tortilla can cost today right around $3 for that meal. $3. And soon USDA will finalize our stocking standards, which means that those businesses in America that take the SNAP benefit, what they are required to stock in order to take that benefit. By the way, that's almost 250,000 retailers across America.
Yes.
That very soon we will be finalizing that rule that will mandate all 250,000 retailers in America double the type of staple foods that they provide for America's SNAP households.
So this
means healthier options will be in.
Now this is something that raises the hairs on the back of my neck, though, just for the fact that, like, you know, she used the word demand and all that stuff. If she means in order to get these benefits, cool. Now, if it's going to be the top down, the government says you have to do this. Hell no.
No, that's what they're saying, to get the benefits.
Okay, because like, you know, that's some commie bullshit and I'm not down with that. However, incentives, if you want this chunk of change and you want this help, you got to do this.
No, and they will. And they will. So let's
not sell out to big.
Here comes the sea change, fam. I can't wait to see the store shelves start changing.
They provide for America's SNAP households. This means healthier options will be in reach for all American families, regardless of circumstance, at levels never seen before in our country. These dietary guidelines are foundational to so many USDA programs, and their introduction marks the first step in connecting America's schools and dinner plates to the best of American agriculture. Make no mistake, under President Trump's leadership, we are restoring common sense, we are restoring scientific integrity, and we are restoring accountability to federal food and health policy. The new guidelines are all about putting the well-being of Americans first, exactly where it should have been all along.
Yes.
This is the foundation that will make America healthy again, not just for those of us alive today, but for our children and our children's children and those coming behind. I want to end by saying God bless American families, God bless the American farmer and rancher, and God bless America. What an honor now to introduce another great
Awesome. Oh yeah, and then
in this incredible work,
this
and
is
that
Dr. Oz. Come on, I didn't watch this far.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we don't really necessarily have time. But hey,
we don't. So we might. Well, just encourage you guys to watch the rest of this, because I'm sure he has some good stuff to say too.
It's we were in the way, but anyway, yeah, you can find it. It's the press briefing,
the White House press briefing from today, January 7th. Yeah. So here's Hallie Means when he was on Joe Rogan. This is going to be really fast, so pay attention to the subtitles. It's a lot of information, but this is why this is happening. This gentleman was a lobbyist for Coca-Cola and other big agri companies. And he became a whistleblower because he became disgusted by what he was being told to do. Here we go. Check this out.
I thought being a good young conservative was supporting the farm industry, supporting the food industry, defending those industries. So I went to Stanford with Casey. She studied biology. I studied political science, economics, and went on campaigns, but then was a lobbyist. Everyone bipartisan in D.C. goes to work for the food and the farm industry. On one morning, I'm working with the farm industry to literally steer money to the dean of Stanford Med School, who's a pain specialist, to be put on an NIH panel to say that opioids in 2011, that the issues around addiction were overblown. We actually helped engineer.
You hear that?
Yep.
Near an NIH panel to issue a report to say opioids are okay, pain is a crisis. And then later in the afternoon, working for food companies, working for Coke, steering money to institutions of trust, steering money to the NAACP to say that taking Coke off food stamps was racist. Soda to this day is the #1 item on food stamps. What I realized fundamentally is that we are profiting. The biggest industries, the biggest spenders in the country are profiting from kids particularly getting addicted, sick, and fear, and then drugging them and profiting from that.
profiting from kids getting sick.
Yeah,
Guys.
you know, I think when Jesus said, you know, the whole hurting the young ones, I'm going to paraphrase, you're hurting the young ones, it would be appropriate to put a millstone. And if you don't know what a millstone is, it's a huge round rock with a hole in it. Put it around their neck and throw them into the water. Yeah, I think that's pretty appropriate because this is what is en masse, generationally.
Yeah.
Millions and millions and millions and millions of kids and adults. But, you know, like we care about our kids.
Well, they're going to
because
become
the
adults
next
too.
adults.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
And just think about it. And, you know, for anybody who's mad at us for saying this crap, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you that you can't actually see how much damage has been done to us, to our kids? So, you know, like, yeah, I'm calling you out.
Yeah.
And I'm not calling you out because I think I'm superior to you, but I'm calling you out because it needs to be done. Because, if you want to keep supporting evil, then I'm going to have to see you as evil. And if you want me to not see you as evil and other people not to see you as evil, stop participating in evil. Stop supporting evil.
Yeah, because we're going to start being loud about it now.
Yeah, this is not partisan either. You know, actually, you know, it kind of sucks that it had to be Republicans to do this. You know, the Democrats lost their chance to actually be on board. They had the ball.
Yeah.
And they screwed us. It's not that they dropped the ball. They intentionally pelted it into our faces.
They let the corporatists take them over too, just like they did to the neocons of the past, the George Bush Juniors and Dick Cheneys. Yeah, it's the same thing. They let it run over them, and it's, you know, it's been there for a long time in our country on both sides. The corporate influence, the lobbyist influence, these multinationals that are so powerful they can influence whole governments and trials of strength. They've been doing it for hundreds of years. East India, you know, this is an old story, fam. So this is almost like a second American Revolution what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Let's go. This is our next little short clip.
All pediatric medicine
Casey
is whether you're
Means.
taking pharmaceuticals. And then the American Academy of Pediatrics, which gives them required reading on dietary interventions, is literally paid for by Coca-Cola, Cadbury, other processed food companies. And they create guidance saying that the first thing your child should eat is processed puffs, not whole food. So we've really got some really tough incentives there. When it comes to chronic conditions, anything that's not going to kill your kid right away, but is like a long-term issue like high cholesterol, blood sugar, mental health, the medical system does not deserve your trust. If you have an acute problem, if something's going to kill your kid right away, if something's like an infection, if some kind of acute illness, the medical system is a miracle. That's 5% of medical spending right now. The medical system has completely lost their way on chronic conditions, and we really should not be trusting the system on that. And we should be taking a big pause when our doctors are trying to push a pharmaceutical or dietary advice on our kids.
Yeah, just look at the food they try and feed people in hospitals, man. It's like the disconnect is alarming, to say the least.
Well, and he brought up, you know, these processed little, you know, it's baby food puffs. It's like you put it in their mouth and immediately dissolves. It keeps them from choking, which is good. How many mothers have I seen with that stuff? We're all taught that it's okay. It's advertised so well. It seems safe. They're pretty good. They're like, I remember that cereal that was that little round puff.
Oh, yeah. Was it corn pops? Something like that,
No,
right?
not corn pop. Yeah, but anyway, like we used to eat those as like a breakfast cereal to get you all jacked up, and you're not allowed to have it all the time because it jacks you up. Do you remember what those baby food grinders looked like? Where you'd actually take Whole Foods and you'd put it in this cylinder and you'd press it down, and you'd grind it, you know, through this, and you'd make your own baby food paste.
Yeah,
because people realized the Gerber paste wasn't good enough for your kids.
Well, it had a lot of heavy metals in it.
Yeah, and other stuff like that.
Nutrients are cooked out, and
like in all honesty, if you want to feed your baby, you know, if you can, first on the breast, because that's more than just feeding. That's the whole immune system and bonding system.
And if you can't do breast milk, do goat milk. That's actually a lot healthier.
That, and also
cow milk.
We could figure out how to make better formula. As well. But then once they start being able to eat, take what you're eating. Now there's certain things you have to avoid. But you should always introduce peanut butter, because if you're not introduced to peanut butter, you're probably going to end up allergic to it.
With an allergy.
Yeah, but you take that, and we used to, as humans, chew it up and give it to our babies. Actually, the French kiss mimics how like primordial humans would feed their infants. They would chew up the food and they put it in their mouth and feed it that way.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how. But since we don't do that anymore, because it's kind of weird by our standards, you can grind it up. So you take a little bit of the stuff that you cooked for yourself, and your baby eats the same stuff you're eating. And then more and more types of it, and if you know, and then eventually you can introduce them to meat. I used to hear stories from the the older folk, one thing you used to use to pacify a baby is you take a terry cloth rag and you put a piece of cooked beef fat, beef fat in it. And they would just
yeah.
and just be constantly munching on the fat while they're teething on the rag and doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it shut them up, and just kept them fed.
Clever.
And there's really no way for like a baby to get too fat off of fat. They're just going to poop it out.
Yeah.
Now you can give them too much fat. You can cause gallbladder issues, but let them chew on it for a little bit.
Puffs,
Yeah, well,
get them that kind of fat.
Gallbladder issues or pancreas issues, which are right next to each other.
Hey, what's up, Shavaya?
Hey,
Kennedy
Shavaya.
banning more toxic foods. Happy to hear that. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it. And then some more comments here.
Oh, yeah.
From Ninja Bet.
When I said it raises the hair on my neck, Ninja Bet said, that's a lot of hair to raise, DJ. Yeah, it is. But it's coming off soon because I'm tired of dealing with it. And I got a real professional job now. So I want to not look like a... and hospital jello. Yeah. So I am...
Yeah, machining businesses need to be rebuilt. Hospital jello. Yeah.
But I think jello is good for you because if you use real collagen, beef collagen, that's good for you. And particularly, it's got a lot of water in it. And particularly for like people with like dementia, it's really hard for them to get water, but they love candies and they like brightly colored things. So you can use
healthy
jello
version
and
of jello
candies.
without the artificial flavors.
Jello made out of horses. No, I'm joking. Jello made out of beef.
But use the
beef
gelatin.
collagen.
And then use actual natural fruits and don't add extra sugars or fruit juice that's super
And if you have
sugar
to, you can
saturated
put vitamins
into
in it. But that's not the
There's a way.
jello
There's a
we're getting in
healthy,
the
tasty
hospital.
way to do this. I know we can pull this off.
Yeah, but hospital jello is particularly heinous. I agree.
Oh, for sure.
No,
it's just sugar, straight up sugar.
But yeah, you know,
cocaine cola.
I want to see the breakdown of exactly what they're doing because this isn't just the government says so we're going to do it. There's political, economic, social implications for every move that's going to happen here. And even with the best intent, this is going to be difficult not to completely break and derail things. So I'd like to see how they're going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
So we will see. We will see. This is just an announcement.
Keep our eyes on them. That's our job, is to watch our representatives like hawks. Even if we trust them, watch them. Pay attention.
I'm happy, but I still don't trust them.
Never fully trust a representative. They're in a position of high power. Power corrupts. We know this. This is a 1,000-year-old adage. We know this.
Especially your local representatives. Don't trust them bastards.
Yes.
Watch them.
Yeah.
Even if they were your friends, you still watch them.
Change your underwear and your politicians often, fam.
For the same reason.
Yeah.
Because they're full of shit.
Yep. All right, let's go.
You walk into the store and it's just added sugar everywhere. And oatmeal has been one that's been shocking to a lot of people. This is something that's considered a heart-healthy breakfast, high fiber, whole grains. Oh, actually, my breakfast caused my glucose to go to 200. We had a big insulin release, which soaked up all the blood glucose. The glucose crashed down and dipped very low. That's called reactive hypoglycemia. And then right after that is when I felt tired and maybe a little moody and maybe a little anxious. All of a sudden, having that objective information linked to a choice and a subjective experience is just a very powerful feedback loop.
Boom. Let's go.
Well, that's the thing. That's what the itis is, by the way.
Oh yeah,
where you get sleepy afterwards.
Yep.
It's a huge. You're so eating like oatmeal and all that stuff. In the beginning, you feel really good because you got all that sugar in you. And you're like, wow, and that's go mode. But then your body has to throw a bunch of insulin at it, and then that quick sugar leaves your system, and then you're left with none and too much insulin. So then you don't have your balance, and then you crash and you get really sleepy. That's why diabetics and pre-diabetics, if they eat too much sugary stuff, it makes them sleepy.
There it is.
Now, natural sugars, like I think a good breakfast meal would be you start off with, so you should eat fruit on a light stomach, Ayurvedic speaking, because that way it goes through your system. It doesn't turn into alcohol and do all that stuff. It goes real quick. And then I think you should put like a good meat and a good fat on top of it. That's why I know the eggs,
eat the fruit on an empty
eggs
stomach.
And bacon breakfast is actually a manufacturing for advertisements and all that stuff, but it's still actually like a cheese, and then a smaller amount, like a nice piece of toast, good hunk of cheese, and a little bit of fruit. That's a really good breakfast. That's pretty much all Germans eat.
Yeah,
like all day, every day, and they're pretty damn healthy people. It's a good healthy bread. cheese, and cold cuts on it.
Hearty grains.
Yeah, and then
fatty foods, protein.
Yeah, and then your midday and late day. That's where you start throwing your roughages in there and others. And
if you're getting sick a lot, cut out the bread part, cut out the carbs, and just eat more of the proteins, the fats, and the veggies.
And
some fruits.
That undigestible fiber. There's a lot better things than just grains to get that. Like celery.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of leafy greens and other stuff like that. If you eat your parsnips and your rutabagas and your turnips and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And rutabaga is actually really good. It gets really sweet. Oh, I've been cooking with kale. Or not kale. No, screw kale. Don't eat it raw. Leeks.
Ooh,
leeks. If you actually take the time, you got to pull them apart, rinse them, cut them up, and then start like cooking them down slowly and then adding water and cooking them down slowly. They get really savory and also very sweet. So when you add them to other stuff, you get that like sugar kick, like in your mouth, flavor wise. That like, cause like for a lot of like your soups and other stuff that you get off the grocery store shelf, it has a bunch of sugar, like added sugar. Whereas with leeks and other onion products, if you cook them down right, it just sweetens everything up, and you don't got to put that little extra bit of sugar in there.
That's right.
It was already in the leek.
There you go.
Leeks are expensive though.
Well, we can get the prices down on these things.
Well, there goes the sugarcane industry. The corn killed the sugarcane industry.
Yeah, it did. It did.
The sugarcane industry's been dead for a while.
Yeah,
at least in the U.S.
Yeah. So here's some more good news to kick off 2026. Right? Look at this, guys. Anti-aging drug regrows knee cartilage in a major breakthrough that could end knee replacements. This is awesome. An injection that blocks the activity of a protein involved in aging reverses naturally occurring cartilage loss in the knee joints of old mice. So we're actually going to regrow your cartilage now, guys. The treatment also prevented the development of arthritis after knee injuries, such as an ACL tear, often experienced by athletes or recreational exercises. Oral version of the treatment is already in clinical trials with the goal of treating age-related muscle weakness. Directly targets the cause of osteoarthritis, a degenerative joint disease, go on and so forth. Yep. Good stuff. Awesome. This one's from my brother.
Rhino.
0 rhinos were poached in India's stronghold for the second year on record.
Hey.
These guys almost died off. This is so cool to see that the rhino is maybe having a chance to make a comeback now. 0 deaths of one-horned rhinos in 2025.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard to get them back from, like, they're pretty much extinct at this point. So
4,000 rhinos is all that's left.
Yeah, that's
once fallen down to 1,800, so they were getting it back.
Okay, they're getting it back, but that's like a huge.
But I think the black
bottleneck.
rhino is extinct now, right?
Yeah, possibly.
I think I heard that somewhere at some point. This is the bighorn rhino.
But yeah, sweet. Well, I bet you I know how they
Shout
did
out
that.
to Ryan, aka Rhino.
So the thing with that is they put people out there and watched them, and they had guns.
Yes.
Powerful guns that shoot at a distance. So guns kill rhinos, but also guns kill people who kill rhinos.
Yes.
And I'm not saying violence is the answer in all things, but in this, for the poachers, yeah, you're not going to go poach something if you know there's going to be a guy up on that hill looking at you, looking at that rhino.
Yeah.
That knows the land, knows that particular freaking rhino.
Yeah.
Has bonded with that rhino in that land. And it's like, no, don't. But the Second Amendment is so great.
So important.
So
very important.
Which they don't have out there, but for protection reasons, Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be able to.
Poachers aren't good people.
How are you going to stop the people with guns? If you don't have a gun or someone else with a gun nearby.
You need the good guys.
You need the good guys with the guns. Yeah. So here's one last great piece of good news. Yeah, speaking of guns, New York City had the lowest numbers of shootings in its history last year.
Wait.
Well, as far as I guess since guns have been around,
well,
probably
since they've been counting them, since they've probably been.
New York's always been wild,
Well, but also New York's been around for a long time and had a lot less people in it.
Yeah.
So I think they probably mean since they've been counting gun crimes
for sure.
Anyway,
so of all the challenges that blah 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 commie face taking charge of the biggest city in the U.S., shootings isn't one of them because the Big Apple recorded fewer in 2025 than in any year on record. In 2025, New York City recorded 688 shooting incidents, the lowest number in the city's history. That didn't just break the previous record set in 2018, it shattered it with 66 fewer shootings. In the month of December, shootings fell 43%, with just 35 shooting incidents worldwide. Wow.
I bet you, not to be cynical or nothing, but I bet you as this trend goes lower, because they actually started cracking down on crime.
Well, here it is. There's police back on the streets. So instead of less cops, more cops,
but I bet
patrolling the right neighborhoods and actually going after gang violence seems to be making a difference.
But I bet you as this trend goes down, Mom Donnie is going to...
Oh, I'm sure he can help it get back up there.
Well, he's going to claim...
credit for it. Yeah.
Look what I did, and then he's gonna do the defund the police like he said he's gonna do. And
oh
he's
God,
gonna
dude.
do all this, and then it's gonna
go.
It's gonna go back. Kind of like what happened to Venezuela. You know, you write off the success from before, and then you destroy it and run it into the ground. So he's gonna be like, yeah, I did this thing, and then people are gonna be like, we like him, vote for him again, and then you'll see the effects of what he did in his first term. Just saying,
we'll fall for things people fall for because they don't do their homework no more. They do not want to challenge their already preferred opinion. You know, people don't want to challenge themselves. Something sounds good, they want to support it. All their friends say it sounds good, they don't question it.
Yeah, but Mom Donnie's a communist, dude. Like straight up. No, he's a Democrat or a social democrat or a democratic. No, like
listen to his speech. Listen to the words.
What was the warmth of collectivism speech he gave? Which like. Stalin said that.
Yeah. Oh no, there's direct quotes from Marxism coming out this guy's mouth.
No, not just Marxism, like straight up communism.
Yeah.
Because all socialism is Marxism.
Yeah. Yeah.
But straight up communism. So it's like keep an eye on what happens to New York City.
Let's pay attention. Let's pay attention.
But hey, it's good news. Good
so
on
there it is right here. Yeah, make no mistake about it. These reductions are the product of our precision policing strategy, putting an unprecedented number of cops on the streets and in the neighborhoods, driving violence, including thousands of additional officers on foot posts and conducting targeted takedowns of the most violent gangs in our city.
Good. Put them on foot posts, and we shouldn't have fat cops.
Yes, that too.
I'm anti-fat cop. I'm sorry. Now, if you're like
even theft, burglary fell as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, of course. Of course it does. And hey, for the boys in blue that actually do their jobs and aren't corrupt and are willing to call out their corrupt counterparts, good on you guys.
Yeah.
I support you 100%. And I was a unruly skater youth that used to give you guys hell, and I apologize.
Same, sorry.
Not the New York cops, but the Charlestown Ranson cops. Yeah, we were a bit of assholes to those guys. So sorry.
Yeah, well,
some of them were assholes too, like really bad. So
definitely not fans of the wild generalizations.
No, there's a lot of actually most cops
crap.
are actually pretty damn good.
Everyone wants to jump on a bandwagon and signal that they're virtuous too.
Oh,
cops are bastards.
Aliens turned off our great DNA capabilities. Maybe we can figure out how to turn them back on. It's the aliens, it's the lizard people.
If only over that.
Or the Anunnaki. It was the Anunnaki
anything that did it. Gives us the sense that we have a handle on what's going on. Of course, I don't think that's it, but
I think there is a way that we can optimize our current living conditions with what our genetics need. Because like our genetics, like if you give them too much of one thing and be like, oh, really, really, really good, it's going to cause problems. Like we're genetically designed to want sugar and sweet things and all that.
Because it used to be very rare in our environment, so you needed a very strong pull to find the sugar.
Optimize with our genes.
Yeah, that's why we have such a strong craving for sugar and salt. They were very rare in our environments hundreds of thousands of years ago.
But being able to slow down telomere, shortening would be good, but we also have to make sure that we deal with the cancer issue, because the shortening of telomeres is kind of what keeps cancer, one of the things that keeps cancer at bay. That's why we're not effectively genetically immortal like the lobster. It's to keep that at bay. We like cells need to die off after a certain amount of repeats.
Yes. Yeah.
So but if we can lengthen them and then deal with all the situations that would cause cancers, and then more research on ways to combat cancers chemically and otherwise. Yeah. So let's be the aliens and turn our DNA, optimize it, tune it, and try not to like edit it too much. Like gene editing stuff freaks me out. Like it could definitely really save lives and make humans way better than we were before, but it's one of those playing God things.
Yeah.
There's a few things you don't want to mess with.
We just don't have the wisdom. We have the power of gods without the wisdom of gods, as Daniel Schmachtenberger so eloquently has expressed.
We don't want to really mess with the atom. We really don't want to mess with the weather, and we really don't want to mess with our DNA. We got to be careful. We got to be real careful if we're going to mess with that. So all those things.
Yeah, we learn these things the hard way, don't we? All right, fam. Well, I think that's good enough for this episode. We're going to go ahead and wind it up. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Meaning Making 101, where we try to make sense of this crazy world together and figure out how we can be that change we wish to see in this world. And so we're here to help arm you with that information, those practices, those ways of being that can help us be that change we wish to see. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share this show with those that you think would like it as well. And, any comment, any like, everything helps the algorithm a lot and helps this reach more people. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Happy 2026. Let's make this year the best ever. Let's start taking control of our lives, taking control of our health. Let's start having happier, healthier relationships
Start taking
with one
control
another.
of our governments, because bribes of appreciation actually seem to work with these people this time around.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Let's dance it out.
Love you very much. We out.
MAHA. You don't have to be MAGA to be MAHA. Like, for real, you can hate Trump. But the healthy thing's cool. It's good.
Let's go.
Yeah. Real food. Yeah. And maybe real pet food too, for the cats. Meow.